You know what time it is, right? It's time, baby. Right there. I'm going to get this out of the slab. Right here. Anyways, Amazing Spider-Man 300. Some people call this the Grail of the 80s, right? It's like one of the most important books. It's first full appearance of Venom, and it's just a classic cover. I mean, ever since this cover came out, the way artists basically create books, covers, especially in the Spider-Man Marvel Universe, has been drastically altered. The way that McFarlane did the webs, the spaghetti design or whatever, and just the poses of Spider-Man, the size of the eyes, all that stuff. It's just classic, right? This is pretty much where it all started. I'm going to submit this one to CGC, as you know, as part of this 40 comic submission. So let's go ahead and get started grading it. Okay, so let's get started here with this beautiful book that pretty much anybody would love this book in any grade. So I'm not really worried about what grade it gets. I'm going to try and be as subjective here as possible. You know, you always want the highest grade possible, right? But it is what it is. And so we're just hoping for any grade in this book is fine. And I can obviously tell this is a high grade copy. So let's go ahead and get started. We got the corners, is what I always first check. This corner's pretty sharp here. Bottom is sharp as well. Let's take a look at the edges. Not seeing anything on this edge. Now this edge here, a lot of you know this. If you look at a few examples of Amazing Spider-Man 300, occasionally several of them are, I mean, I don't know how many, but this isn't the first time I've seen this kind of this miscut edge. It's really rough. And I've seen 9.8s with this edge like this. This is just something that happened to a certain percentage of the books when they were originally printed. I don't know if you can see it well. It came up with kind of this rough edge. And I actually don't mind it. I think it actually is, because you know it's a common thing on these books, I actually almost prefer to have this on my book than not. So I don't think CGC counts off for that, but we'll keep that in mind. If we did happen to get a lower grade than we expect, we might question that or check the notes. But anyway, let's look at the bottom edge here. And I don't see anything on the bottom edge. Looks pretty good. Let's take a look at the top and bottom of the spine here. There might be just a slight ding on the top of the spine, and there definitely is a little ding here on the bottom. So the spine is not flawless as far as that goes. So we got corners are good, edges are all good, and the spine is dinged a little bit. Just double check this corner right here. I thought I might have saw something. Nope. Okay, and so let's take a look down and up and down the spine here. See if I can get in the light just right. It's actually a pretty good spine. I mean, it's hard to find a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300 that doesn't have a beat up spine. This one's pretty good. So let's just take our finger here and feel. Top's good. We have a tick here that breaks color. We have a tick here that does also break color. Here's as well, that's 3, 4, 5, but these do not break color. 6 with just a tiny color break here, so that's 3 that break color. A 4th that breaks color, but man, that's just minute right there. It's just a little spot. And then a 5th. So there's about 9 or 10 spine ticks probably on this book. 5 or 6 that have tiny color break. So right off the bat, we know we're not in the 9.8 range, right? We're probably not even in 9.6. So I mean, I would think with this spine instantly, we're in the top of our range is 9.4, but probably more in the 9.2 range. I would never think you would ever get a 9.6 with a spine, but you certainly could get a 9.4 if everything else is perfect. But everything else is not perfect so far, right? So I'm thinking we're in the 9.2 range already on this book, which, you know, if it holds up and it ends up being a 9.2, I'll be thrilled. I think 9.2s are going for like $1,200 right now, and I got this book for a lot less than that. I'll have to look. I don't remember what I got it for, but it was at least half that. So let's turn it over. And see what we got on the back. Very nice corners on this book. And the bottom as well is very, very nice. This side of the book is excellent. So we do have a little ding here on the bottom, and you can see there's kind of a color breaking crease right there. So that's going to ding the book as far as grading. It does only show on the back, and that same ding on the front. So this is, I would count this as part of that ding on the bottom, but now it's just a worse ding. It's more like a moderate ding. And the spine is similar on the back. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got several color breaks here on the back. So with this here and this spine like this, let's take a look at the middle of the book. And not seeing anything else. And edges all look good as well. Yeah, edges are nice. So I almost want to cap this book at 9.0, I believe. I think it's definitely capped at 9.0. Borderline 8.5 so far. Still very happy to get an 8.5 or 9.0 in this book. Very happy to get an 8.0. I'm happy to get a 7.5. I'm happy to get a 1.0 in this book. Let's put it that way. But this is definitely a higher grade copy. Everything looks good on the inside of the cover here. Pages are borderline white to off-white. So they could go either way. This could either get white pages or it could get white to off-white pages, I think. And of course, this famous book here, this pose here. Let's give you a second to look at it because some of you may never own a copy of this and may want to see what's on the inside. So I'll try and show as much as I can without damaging the book. Of course, you could probably read this online somewhere. But to actually be holding and having a copy of this is something a lot of collectors will strive for. This is an excellent book. I really like this part of the book here where they have their little fight for the first time. Of course, got Eddie Brock here, revealing that he is who he is. Yeah, very cool stuff here. Yeah, there's a reason this is a popular, famous book. It's just great artwork, great action sequences. McFarlane's work is just amazing. As you all know and probably agree with that statement. But yeah, condition looks great in this book. I don't see anything on the inside that's going to detract. And here's this famous scene that you guys probably love. A little risque for like a 10 or 11 or 12-year-old to be reading this, isn't it? But yeah, it was in the book right there. She drops her outfit and lets him take some private shots of her. There's, of course, the beginning where it's showing Eddie Brock as Venom, coming home from scaring the heck out of Mary Jane and then turning into himself, talking about how all he did is lift weights for a long time. I believe he maybe said that in prison or whatever. And of course, he blames Peter Parker for everything. So I don't want to get too off on the story here, but, you know, it's worth it with this book. You know, how often do you get to grade and hold this book, right? It's not very often. I may never have another raw copy of this again, of course. I hope so. I hope to have this book a lot. And I actually want to get a reader's copy of this. Maybe one that doesn't have a cover or something crazy like that, just so I can have in my collection. But I definitely slab anything that's mid-grade or above on this book. So yeah, I'm going to stick with my assessment here. I think this is probably as it sits before press. An 8.0. Could get 8.5, but I think it's an 8.0. And I think after press, this is going to be an 8.5 or a 9.0. I'm not going to be surprised either way. I'd be kind of surprised if it's an 8.0 after press, and I'd be kind of surprised if it's a 9.2 after press. So I'm thinking this is going to land at, I'm hoping 9.0, but I'd be happy with 8.5. I'll be happy with 8.0, but I think the margins are 8.0 and 9.2, with probably more than half the time it's going to be an 8.5 or a 9.0. So tell me what you think in the comments below. And, you know, this is a great book. I know everybody out there, I've never met or talked to a collector that doesn't absolutely love this book. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. So make sure you have fun collecting. And what's more fun than grading Amazing Spider-Man 300, right? So everybody enjoy the rest of their day, and we'll talk to you again.